Hi, we're here today with Al Buckbee, who is a candidate, the Republican candidate for the Orange County Legislature. And Al, what district are you serving? What areas of Orange County?
This district is District Number 10, Orange County. It encompasses the village of Warwick, moving its way eastward through the town of Warwick, over top of the Belleville Mountain, and it encompasses the village of Greenwood Lake, and then the rest of Greenwood Lake proper, which is actually all the town of Warwick. So it encompasses 2 villages and 1 town.
Right, and I understand you've been a resident of Warwick for quite some time.
Yep, I'm 35 years old, graduated from college in 1996 from Washington and Jefferson College. I've lived here my entire life, with the exception of my college years, 92 to 96.
What did you study in college?
I was a political science major who was interested and thought very hard about going on to law school, but then our heritage here in this area is actually 10 generations of agriculture, and my parents and I were able to restart our dairy farm here. My father had retired in the late 80s, and we restarted it again in 1996. And then I was lucky enough to also have a sister who, she and her husband and her family came back into our business, and we have been growing ever since. So it's been about 13 years, and about 13 years.
I think we were talking to your father before, and he said that the family history goes back to the 1700s at your farm and your home. Yeah. So that's quite a legacy in the Orange County area. So you've known Orange County from day one. Yeah, it's my father and I are actually sons of the American Revolution, and we go back to a person by the name of Henry Wisner, who was actually a member of the First and Second Continental Congresses, and was one of the, if not the only member of New York State delegation to the Congress to actually vote for independence. I'd heard you on WTBQ, one of the regional radio stations, just maybe a few weeks ago, and I think you had invoked Ronald Reagan as a person who inspired. Why is that?
Well, I think by being agriculture and also being generational after generation, you begin to learn things that I began to learn through my father. Self-sufficiency, independence, and that was what was really embodied by Ronald Reagan and by the conservative movement in the 1980s, but it's actually the very same movement that actually started this country. It was the striking back of people who actually believe that they can do the best good for themselves, as opposed to just automatically giving their authority to a centralized government. In those days it was the British King and the British Parliament. Today it's, and in Ronald Reagan's days, it was the same thing. It was a strong centralized government in Washington, D.C., and I think we're dealing with that here at this level. Ronald Reagan is kind of a role model for all of us. One of the great quotes that I've always loved is, government is generally never the solution, and it's almost always the problem.
All right. So, government when you need it, is that what we're talking about here?
Basic enumerated powers, building of roads, infrastructure issues, national defense, police force on a local level. These are what we're looking to accomplish. We don't necessarily need them to encompass every other aspect of our life. Healthcare. We have a government now that's imposing taxes on us that are 15 times at least what Samuel Adams and the Sons of Liberty were, caused them to throw British tea into Boston Harbor.
Sure.
Central government now imposes sales tags on our appliances. I guess the fundamental thing is I have faith in people, less faith in the government.
Sure. One of the interesting things was that I think Orange County's taxes really didn't go up this year.
Yep.
Whereas the state of New York, I think it expanded its budget by 5%. Is that where you're looking as a legislator? Will you look carefully to keep it from going up or going down? Or I think what we're looking at with that is, and the way that the politicians do account that, yes, they are correct. The budget actually at the county level has gone up. Unfunded mandates being one of the reasons, and the second one is just discretionary income. They're actually using some of the surplus a few years ago. But the unfunded mandates are a huge part of this, and those are, again, taxes that are imposed, in this case by Albany, and in some cases even by the federal government, which are imposed by those bodies. We have no choice about them, and we're forced to pay them. The question, many politicians just end with that statement. They say, well, we don't have any choice on this. It's all our tax money, and somehow this has to be accounted for. And I'm getting tired of just people passing the buck and saying, well, it's not my fault here at the county level. It's those SOBs up in Albany that are doing this to us, and we don't have any choice. We have got to figure out why this is continuing on. I, again, have the faith, the smaller the government, the more localized it is, therefore the more responsive it is, and also, most importantly, therefore the most accountable it is. And it's easier to throw out somebody at the town level or at the county level than it is somebody in Albany or Washington.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, were very surprised to see the MTA payroll tax that was recently placed on them by, I presume, Albany, and it's not a small amount, I think most people feel.
I think at the county, yeah, it's a major issue, and again, another tax that's imposed by another group that, for some reason, we have no accountability for. I think at the county level, at the town level, I think it's about $70,000 or $80,000 for their employees. At the county level, it's over $500,000.
Yeah. I guess also, and this goes back to, what's the biggest issue that you feel government at all levels should be addressing right now? Obviously, it's the roads and maintaining things, but what issues right now do you think are most pressing for government to help the country and the municipalities and counties?
We spoke about Reagan once before. I think again we can use that premise. Government is not the solution to this problem. In fact, it is the problem. Let's cut all the taxes at all levels, whether it is this MTA, whether it's Albany, whether it's these, and particularly in my case, these unfunded mandates, which are over half of the county budget. Let's figure out whether those are extremely, whether they're all usable and absolutely required, if they're not things that we can cut out of them, or let's also ask ourselves this question that says, if it continues to expand at this level, can we continue to afford this? If half of the budget is used for this amount in 5 years, if 3/4 of it, can we still afford this? I think we're going to continue to increase our taxes as they move forward. So we need to come to grips with this ever-expanding government.
Do you think lower taxes are going to create more jobs?
Oh, absolutely. On a local level, just in our small business here, our ice cream employs roughly 20 high school and a little bit older college kids. On the farm, we employ several very, very qualified people. The taxes, just our property taxes alone on this farm are roughly $40,000 to $50,000. That's a full-time position.
I presume you could spend it better in a lot of different directions.
Just on having, that's at least one solid, great full-time job, or it can be spread among the raises on people who are already working here, or it's a bunch of new part-time jobs as well. So it becomes a question of who is better at spending the money. I think, again, businesses and homeowners, individuals who are in charge of their own life, they're better at spending the money rather than let's tax everybody out of business or so much that they have to cut back to give money to the government so that the government can then turn it back to people who can't seem to find jobs. The taxation is a major part of it.
Your experience as a business person, how valuable will that be as an Orange County legislator?
I think it's invaluable. The reason being, I actually have a connection to this area. We've lived here forever, at least for my entire life and generations back. This is what makes us want to continue on. I do not want to be a professional politician. I want to do my duty, and then come home and continue to farm, continue to make food for hungry people to eat. I have no intention of doing it for a living, being a politician. So just having that same connection, I believe that's what the Founding Fathers wanted. They wanted people who were connected to their area, who could serve, and then when their duty was done, get out of the way and let other people come in and get their ideas in.
Very good. Al Buckbee, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.